got to spend a lot of time with the lieutenant governor. And I've
Hmm.
seen like the way the culture has dragged her, like made comments about her hair and stuff. I just have to say, this she was really a lovely woman, like to interact with, like a really pleasant person. And I think actually like had a lot of cultural connections with our community because of her faith. So,
Mm.
the way that she ran her campaign will be litigated for a long time to come. But just like as an individual, I think like, especially as Black folk, like we shouldn't like rob her of her dignity or humanity. Even if there are deep disagreements about all of the policy issues. I personally really enjoyed like driving around with her in her motorcade. She more than any of the candidates in the race, gave me a lot of access.
Hmm.
And it's like just a really, a wonderful person with a really rich story. Jamaican American immigrant, former Marine, former small business owner. She was involved in the prison ministry. Um, Now, the social issues that she embraced, like one time in the past, like referring to abortion, suggesting it's akin to murder and genocide, that's not really something that is in line with the positions of most Virginians. And I think that her position on social issues like gay marriage really was a liability. But that's another conversation than who she is as an individual.
But part of the issue too, Eva, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but then, like I see so many Black Republicans do, they start obsessing over race and identity. So she was complaining that Obama didn't endorse her. And I'm like, why are you making everything about race? I thought race don't matter. She's complaining and her supporters are complaining, why
Yeah.
didn't the NAACP endorse her? The NAACP, they've endorsed plenty of white candidates. The original founders of the NAACP, many of them were white. So it's this thing. I hear what you're saying, but then when Byron Donalds has done it too, then they suddenly start making it about race and they bring up their race and identity. You never heard Kamala Harris scream, I'm a Black immigrant woman. I'm a Black immigrant woman. There's this weird dance that I see them do in a way that back in the day, Michael Steele never did. Colin Powell never did. J.C. Watts never did, right? So that was interesting to see her complaining about Obama. And I'm like, well, girl, did you support Kamala? You know what I mean?
They do have to be more consistent with how they want to embrace identity politics because I mean, a key part of her election argument was that her story could have been possible nowhere else, that her father came to from Jamaica poor. And she didn't understand why Democrats are still trying to divide us on racism. She was trying to make an argument for a post-racial America. And she might not see that as an argument steeped in identity politics, but it is. And so I do agree with you that Republicans have to be more intellectually consistent with that.
Were you in the room and the were you at the rally when she was screaming, I'm speaking? Because that went TikTok viral.
I am speaking. I am speaking.
And
Yeah.
we noticed that TikTok viral in a bad way can really impact an election. That went all over the place. Were you there in the at the rally?
I wasn't at that particular event. She had to contend with a lot of hecklers. There were those on the left that pretty routinely showed up to her events and would heckle her. And that didn't happen so much on the other side with Spanberger, whose events were a little bit more controlled. And so, yeah, she like got frustrated. And I think that I'm speaking episode where she was kind of mirroring what Vice President Harris did
In
in
the
the
debate
debate
with Mike Pence.
with Mike
Yeah.
Pence, but of course it did not land in the same way. I think that was a big challenge for Earl-Sears. You mentioned Herschel Walker before. She is very like Herschel Walker-esque and Trump-esque in that she never had a standard stump speech. She would just get
Mm.
out and speak basically from the heart to these crowds, and the crowds would love her. I mean, these are white conservatives largely, but also conservatives of color in Northern Virginia, Asians, Latinos, some Black Americans. But then you could easily see, because it was not scripted, bits and pieces of them be repackaged by her opponents to her detriment. And so she probably could have benefited from being a more disciplined messenger and not leaving herself open to being able to basically be caricatured, which she was pretty effectively, I think.
And this is where experience matters. You know, she had little to no experience before becoming the lieutenant governor, right? This
Political
is, I mean, I don't
experience.
know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if she, I don't know if she cared about this, but a lot of times these black Republicans don't reach out to black media. They don't even try to reach out to black media. But this is where experience campaigning really matters. You know, she really did turn into a caricature, like you said, and it was bizarre. And I mean, I covered her a bit in my book, and she would say things like critical race theory just teaches you to hate white people. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like
Well,
it
that's what she
appears to be this.
believes.
That's what, you know what? That's what she believed. That's what she believed. Now, when did you, when did you realize there was a problem? Like at any point, did you think it would be these kinds of numbers? Did you say, "Oh, this is not going to work"? I mean, and I'm talking about House of Delegates, Attorney General, and Jay Jones got over that controversy. I mean,
That was
it
the
is a
shocker.
molly.
That was the
That
shock of
surprised
the
me.
night. That because
Yeah,
I thought Miarez was going to hold on, the
yeah.
incumbent attorney general. Um, I don't know, and most Democrats didn't know that it was going to be that kind of wave election. They obviously felt pretty good because of the environment, and as reporters, that was the assessment we made too. But no, I did not going into election night know that it would be a blowout. I did not see
Mhm.
that coming.
Before you go, I know this is a big question, but I'm going to ask you because you covered the Kamala Harris campaign a lot, and if I'm wrong, correct me, Eva. I struggle. I'm like, damn, this is some really high voter turnout. At this point, Abigail's going to come close to the numbers Kamala Harris got, which is crazy for a non-presidential election in Virginia. It's crazy. Jersey, at this point, she's going to win. Mikey Sherrill is going to win Jersey at a larger number that Kamala Harris won Jersey. And Kamala Harris did talk about affordability. She did talk about health care. She did talk about raising the minimum wage. Yet the voter turnout numbers were so low. It was only a year ago today. What do you think happened? I mean, I know Trump was a disaster, but he was a disaster the first term. How much has changed in a year? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Trump is a really unique figure. And I think that Republicans are realizing that when he's not on the ballot, they have problems. I don't know why Vice President Harris's economic message did not resonate in the way that it needed to. I do get frustrated, though, when people say, oh, she didn't focus on the economy. She did. I was with her. She did.
Yeah.
She had this huge economic rollout she did in Pennsylvania. I was there. But I think because she was associated with President Biden, that was sort of the largest anchor that she just could not overcome. And that even though she pressed these economic policies, it wasn't enough. But at this point, Democrats can only look forward, they can't look back.
That's right. That's
And
right.
I mean, I think that Zoran's campaign in New York City is like a really good roadmap. He's unapologetic, right? He's not throwing
He
immigrants under
is.
the bus. New York City is not going to be cooperating with ICE anymore under his leadership, and because like he's so unwavering in his principles, is what makes him so effective. Not every New York City voter is going to agree with every issue that he stands for, but they understand that he believes what he is saying. And I think that the more Democrats elevate candidates like that, that are real people with real convictions, the better off they'll be.